Hello, everyone. My name is Trevor, and this is my incredibly unorganized rant about Home Sweet Home Alone. So, first of all, Disney Plus didn't even want to play it. I had to restart Disney Plus two or three times to even get it to play the film, which makes sense. The movie thinks it's way funnier than it is. Like the characters kept pausing, like they were on a sitcom. Like they were like, "Hey, audience, it's time to laugh," and nobody was laughing. I mean, I was the only person sitting there, but still, I wasn't laughing. Like it's not funny. The puns are atrocious. McShame about McDonald's, and you're like, really? That's sad. Also, all of the jokes need explaining. This movie isn't quotable at all. Like, you couldn't just pull out a joke and quote it. All of them, like, you need to be like, okay, so is it this, and then this was going on, and then they said this, and then it's not fun. Like, this movie is not funny. I'll probably touch on that later because this is, you know, notes about a movie that's dumb and unorganized, so this is going to be unorganized. So the focus of the movie is so split between the family and like the people selling the house. I don't know why, because like we're supposed to focus on the kid, right? The Home Alone, we're supposed to focus on the kid, and then his family. We care about the kid, and then we're sad when he gets left alone, and then like we want him to you know set the robbers on fire or something. I don't like it's Home Alone stuff. But then we're focusing on this couple that's trying to rob the kid. Like, I don't want to care about them. Like, they're terrible people, but then when we see the kid try and do stuff shoot billiard balls at them, I don't care about him. Like, this movie, like, this screenplay sucks. This film is without an antagonist in the worst way possible because we are putting so much emphasis on these people that are supposed to be the villains, right? Like the people who rob a child's house while they're home alone, they are supposed to be the villains. But then they're who we're spending the most time building the character of and empathizing with. So that really within the confines of the story lacks an antagonist, which shouldn't work for a film about robbing a child. Okay, and again, I could care less about the kid, and I'm supposed to care about the adults, but they suck. Also, this weird off version of the Home Alone score personally offends me. So there is an OJ joke. There is also a joke about Axel Foley from 1985's Beverly Hills Cop. Why is this in a kids movie? Like, I don't understand who this movie is for. Is this for the kids who will be like, haha, the kids doing a bunch of stuff to these robbers, or is it for the adults who are actually going to get these jokes, who liked the original Home Alone film and grew up with it, who are just going to think this is stupid because the entire premise of this movie is just dumb. It doesn't work today. The only reason Home Alone was such a perfect encapsulating of that time type film. It was a very of the moment movie, and it doesn't work since. We've seen sequels and remakes fail. There were 5 Home Alone movies. The first 2 were the only ones that worked because they were of its time, and that's what created the world of Home Alone that a lot of people love. So trying to remake it but keep to the same idea doesn't do anything, especially when this has no idea what its audience is. Okay, so this is just nitpicks now. So they slide around this couple. They slide around the corner in a car, and their screams are so weak. It sounded like when I tried to make a movie when I was 8, and I just went ah, it sounded like that. They're professionally trained actors. They need to do so much better than that. The space remake of Angels with Filthy Souls in the background looked way better than this movie. Also, this movie felt so long. It's only an hour 30 minutes. It felt like 3 hours. Again, why am I supposed to care about these adults? They're horrible. I don't care about anybody. And there's the terrible line delivery from everybody. Okay, so why did we have to establish that the kid thought he was going to be sold to an old lady and be fed can't why? Why were the stakes set like that? And also, is the antagonist just the kid's imagination? Because no, there's no real protagonist and no real antagonist. This movie is just kind of existing as a blob. The original film makes us care about the kid and the family and makes us look at the villains as like a threat, but like a caricature of a threat that a kid where like yeah, a kid could handle this, but also they're like menacing. And like this we don't get this at all because like we know too much about the villains and we don't know enough about the kid to really care about any of it. And speaking of the original film, like there are so many half-hearted callbacks that feel so forced and unnatural. Like they aren't fun. It's just like, hey, here's a thing that you might remember. I mean, this film has absolutely no heart for a film about like Christmas, which is supposed to be like, yay, Christmas. Like zero heart in this film. Absolutely none. Um, I just everybody in this movie is just like a terrible person. It doesn't make me want to like anybody. Uh, okay, so this movie, let's move on to some things other than me just saying everybody in this movie is terrible. But like the slow mo, like this isn't a Michael Bay movie. You can calm down with the slow mo. Like every single time somebody like fell off of something or whatever, like it was like, oh, slow motion, they're gonna fall to the ground. But like that takes all of the comedic impact of like a person like falling off of a fence onto the ground. Like it's funny because you saw a person fall, but like if you add slow mo, then it's like it's drawn out and then it just gets awkward and then it's not funny. Like horrible use of slow mo in this movie. Um, and then like half of the movie is just this couple, like these I guess you could call them the criminals, but like they aren't really the antagonists. I don't know. I've established my issues with that, but like they're trying to like find the house and trying to just like get into the house, and like there's multiple occasions where it's like, oh, you're supposed to laugh because like, oh, they slipped on the ice and fell, or like they fell off a gate into like the snow, or like, oh, the dude like his pants fell down, like, but it's not funny. Like it's just frustrating to watch because these are people that I don't like, who you're supposed to not like but also empathize with at the same time, and they're just being dumb. Like it's like they're just doing everything to themselves, which then in turn like makes all of the kids like traps and stuff so much less satisfying because we've already seen them do all of this to themselves. Like he probably didn't even need to do anything, and they'd mess it up by their own. Like, what was the point of establishing this? Like, there's so many moments in this film where it just feels pointless. Like, why did the daughter have to be in the choir? What? Why did we need to see that? Why was there like another family there visiting with them? Like, was it their cousin? Like, I'm so confused. Like, they're also okay during the sequence where Archie Yates, the kid, right, where he's setting up the traps, the editing in that scene looked like it was done by a 4-year-old who accidentally opened Daddy's iMovie account. Like, what was that editing? Oh my god! Like, ugh. I mean, kids. I don't understand who's going to like this. I don't understand who this is for. I mean, so like, okay, I was talking about how the kids' traps weren't satisfying because like the adult like robber criminal people, like they're incredibly incompetent and they're just gonna mess up on their own. So the kid throws a Mentos like soda, the dumps Mentos into like a soda bottle and then throws it at like the woman, right? And so first of all, like you'd think that she would know, okay, Mentos and soda, like, I know what this is going to do. But she kicks it. Like, she sees it, and then she's like, what's this? She goes up and kicks it, and then decides, oh, okay, nothing happened. I should kick it again. And then nothing happens. And then she kicks it again, and then it, like, explodes in her face. Like, what? She kicked it 3 times. How are we supposed to see these people as any kind of a threat to this kid? Like, the kid was already so underdeveloped, but then you're giving me absolutely no reason to like fear for him. He's just like there, and then these people are so incompetent that they're literally doing his job for him of keeping themselves out of his house. Like, I don't. Ah! Okay, so then there's also one point where the male robber, I didn't take the time to learn character names or actor names for them. Where Archie Yates, the actor for the kid, he puts VR on the male robber, and he thinks he's on a cliff. So one, you can't see yourself in perfect detail as far as I know with VR. Also, would it not be pretty obvious that you have a VR headset on your head? Like it's just like, oh, old people are dumb and they don't understand anything. Like, no, that's not how it works. As a 16-year-old, not all old people are dumb. That's not is that what this movie was trying to say? I don't know. It does have a message, and it decides that it has a message like 10 minutes until the end of the movie. Um, like way too many of the kids like tricks and traps rely on chance. Like I talked about the Mentos one. There's one thing where he like I guess saws off one of the like little banisters on the stairs, like a piece of the railing. Like it's a very very small piece of the railing, and the guy just happens to grab that part of the railing and then falls down the stairs. So one, what was the purpose of that? Of him falling down the stairs? Also, like, what are the chances that that works? Like, so many of these traps, whereas in the original Home Alone, like, I know I shouldn't be comparing it to that, but it's hard not to since, like, it's right there. It's both, like, this is both a remake and a sequel of the original, I guess. Um, like, all of the tricks are like so like meticulously like planned out, and like he has this massive scheme and everything sets off the next thing, and like he's initiating everything, whereas this all just felt like, oh, he did a bunch of stuff with the house and then like they just happened to do exactly the thing that he was hoping they would. Like that happens a little bit with the original, but like not this much. I mean, also, why was Archie Yates like third for screen time? I mean, okay, I love Archie Yates. He's great in Jojo Rabbit. He doesn't have the charm that Macaulay Culkin had. Like, I get that. Not everybody's going to be Macaulay Culkin, but the writers could have at least like given him screen time to work with. Just a thought. Um, Also, just to prove that literally everybody in this movie is dumb as rocks. So the kid tries to shoot the guy with the 8 ball out of like this billiard ball gun thing, and the guy catches it. It is very obvious, like on screen, that the kid has the entire thing loaded with billiard balls. Like there are multiple more billiard balls in there. And instead, he just drops the gun and like jumps off the balcony onto the trampoline. Why? What? What? You just shot the 8 ball. Why don't you keep shooting the billiard balls? Like it's incredibly obvious that he has more. I I understand he's a kid, but like he had to have put those balls in there to shoot them. Ugh. I mean, and this movie is so morally ambiguous too. Like the film is written like you're supposed to sympathize with the robbers more than the kid, in which case the film wants you to root for people robbing a child. But I guess it's hard to argue with that since like I don't care about the kid. Like I feel like I'm just repeating myself at this point, but like I I kind of have to go down to the level of this movie is. I mean, uh, okay, so just rapid fire here. There's CGI icicles. Um, so there's one point where the male robber guy he says, "Do you really think I'm that stupid?" And like, I audibly was just like, "Yeah, yeah, I do. That stupid and more." Like, come on. Okay, so spoilers, I guess, for Home Sweet Home Alone for everybody out there that cares. It's incredibly obvious that Archie Yates like did not take the doll. The entire thing is like these people who are trying to get money because they're going to lose their house thought that Archie Yates took a doll from their house while he and his mom were pretending to be looking at the house because Archie Yates had to pee. And they thought that he took this doll, which they didn't realize was like incredibly valuable until after they thought that he had taken it, but he didn't actually take it. But then they realized that it was worth a lot, so then they were going to go steal it back from him. But like it's so obvious he didn't take the doll. Like it's very obvious. So so and then they're even like, okay, so I guess this entire thing was a consequence. And then they're all just like, "Oh, okay. It's okay." And then like it's supposed to be like, "Oh, it's a nice sweet moment." But like no, you're all jerks and you're horrible people and you're all stupid. And like it's just like, "Oh, everything's good now," even though we just like fired billiard balls at each other and like horribly messed up this house. And we're like, I don't know, somebody probably should have and could have died. But like it's everything's okay, no hard feelings. Like if that was the case, why did I care like why did I care about any of this? Like if none of the conflict mattered and everybody's just like chill, like even the doll at the end, like they just find it, and then like we cut to like 1 year later. I and then it's just like everybody's like a happy ending and like everything's okay. So if everybody is completely okay and the characters within the film didn't care about the conflict, like they were just like, okay, it's fine. Then like why should I as an audience member care about these characters' opinions on a conflict that they don't even care about? I mean, this movie also it decides that it has to have this message that like home is where your family is, just like completely out of nowhere. This is not set up at all. This is not a recurring theme. It's just like, so okay, we're gonna lose our house and we have to move. And Archie Yates' kid, your family accidentally left you here and they went to Tokyo without you and it didn't feel like home. So that means that the overarching theme of this entire film is that home is where your family is. No, the overarching theme of this film is that everybody is stupid. That's the overarching theme of this film. I mean, there's so many moments in this film. Like I said, there's the moment when like he says, "Do you think I'm that stupid?" There's another thing where an adult makes a reference before saying the kid won't get it because he's too young. So if you within the film are saying the kid within the film is too young to get the reference, then why would the kids watching the movie get the reference? It's like they're writing things. It's like Fast and Furious 9 where they're just like, haha, this is dumb. This is a dumb thing. So let's do this dumb thing. Like it's like that, but like it's unironically like it isn't even trying. I and like I don't want these characters to have a happy ending. They're all terrible. It cuts to a year later and they're still like terrible people. I oh this movie. I hope this has been entertaining. Like one last thing. Why was Buzz in the movie for just 2 minutes and then just completely irrelevant for the rest of it? Like why? Why like yeah, okay, that was kind of cool to see Buzz back. And then why was he just here for like 2 minutes? I don't understand this movie. Like it was just like, hey, he's in the movie for 2 minutes. That's cool. No, what, why was he in the movie for 2 minutes? What purpose did he serve other than to accomplish nothing for the plot of the story? His scene didn't even need to happen for the film to exist. Like, it's like they had like 20 minutes of material. It's like Star Trek the Motion Picture. They had like 20 minutes of material and we're like, okay, we need to make this into a feature film. So let's throw in about an hour of filler and call it a movie. That's not how filmmaking works. I can't believe that I spent an hour and a half of my time watching this movie. I mean, I can because I did it and I knew that it was going to be bad. But like, this is just atrocious. I hate my life.